Welcome to Subramani. I have said time and again that I am a channel to help people learn investing. I will not give ready-made answers like how some people think that they will identify mutual funds, or they will give their own portfolio and say this is where we invest, these are the shares that we buy. I have absolutely no interest in doing something like this. So one question which I have been asked is, can you give me a list of financial advisors? I have interacted with more financial advisors than you can even imagine. Last 20 years have been spent, or maybe 21 years now have been spent in training advisors. So I know many advisors, I know how advisors think, etc., etc. But I have no intentions of telling you cookie cutter that these are the advisors whom you should go to. You have to find them on your own, and it is not easy. It can be overwhelming finding a good financial advisor who wants to work with you. I know very many financial advisors who are now not looking for work. They just don't want to. They've hung up their boots. They're very strict in what kind of clients that they are looking for. They are looking only for clients who would have at least 5 crores to invest or 7.5 crores to invest, because they want to be choosy. And I don't blame them for that. I mean, it's their call, right? So I do know them, I do know they're good, but what happens that if I recommend a financial planner or a financial advisor, whatever you want to call them, distributor, and then they start selling bad products. I've recently very bad experience with recommending financial advisors who then filled up the client's portfolio with products which I wouldn't even think of investing. So I said, let me just take a back seat, let me just empower you. My job here is more to empower you rather than saying I will make cookie cut videos on how to do your portfolio planning and how to do your portfolio construction. Not my business. I can tell you how I did mine. You can learn from it and do it yourself. I will not give you a list of good dividend yield shares to buy now. No, you will not find it. I have no financial bond. I have no reason to increase my viewership basis. I have no desire or need to sell products. My dividends take care of my expenses. I am at the stage of my life where I want to give away rather than acquire. So having said this, I also think that thanks to the social media and general media, people think the need for an advisor is no longer there. All you have to do is put money in an index fund, put money in a general insurance product and in term insurance. Believe me, even in medical insurance, it's far more complicated than what some jokers on YouTube will like to tell you. There is a difference between taking a big policy plus the support of a top-up and a super top-up, rather than taking a small policy with a top-up and a super top-up. One thing about annuity and about medical insurance, those who can afford it don't need it. Those who can't afford it buy wrong products. That's a very big problem. So I would still think that medical insurance should never be bought on your own without having a good agent who understands. That's also very difficult to find. So having said all this and having batted for the financial advisor and why you need one, let me now also tell you why, what are the questions you should ask, and this can be very different from what others tell you. Is first of all, find a person who enjoys doing what he's doing, right? I met a young kid recently, about 26, 27, who just says, I enjoy meeting people and solving their financial problems. That's a great answer to get, right? Like when I pick up a kid who is son of a doctor, or a mother doctor, father doctor, and one kid was very clear. He said, I have absolutely no empathy for the person who calls at 2 a.m. My mother revels in saying, oh, there is somebody in trouble and I should go and help them do a delivery, right? So if your mother is a gynecologist, it does not mean you will be a gynecologist. If you have no empathy towards the people to whom you are going to render the service, you should not be a doctor. It's very clear. Yes, your mother has a successful practice, your father has a successful practice, you're going to inherit the business, the practice, the contacts. It's fantastic. But if you're not interested, if you're not if you have no empathy towards your patients, you should not be in that. Similarly, if your financial advisor was forced there, right, his father died and therefore quickly he had to take over in class 10 or class 11 and he's stuck there, and he's not there by choice, but he's making good money and therefore he's there, is not a great person to be with, simply because he or she is not enjoying what they are doing. See whether the person is just a name lender. It happens when the husband's income increases, he makes his wife the agent, and his wife is the person who is sitting with you and talking. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to have a person who really understands investments, understands taxation, understands your concerns as in financial planning, and reasonably understands markets. I don't want him or her to be a great market expert. No, they're not market experts. They have to just egg you on, right? At the beginning of your life, you just need a coach who will call you every day and make sure that you are getting up at 6 o'clock and going for a run. That is exactly what I expect a financial planner to do for you at your young age. That prod you and make sure that you invest and start the process. The person, slowly it should become a habit for you to turn to your financial advisor and say, my mother has to make a will, what does she have to include? My daughter wants to go abroad to study, is this a good school? So those kind of questions should also come to you, not because you are an expert, but because you are dealing with many people, right? So this person should be a person to whom you feel that he or she enjoys the work which they are doing, and therefore they want to be in this business, and therefore they want to be with you. Also, now what is happening is, once upon a time there used to be a person called a vakil, and everybody turned to that vakil for everything. You want a company formed, you want an income tax filed, you want some marriage to be fixed, everything was that vakil. This must have been about 125 years ago. Then slowly there was specialization. So the chartered accountant started doing income tax work, the company secretary started doing secretarial work, then the lawyer was doing some other kind of work. So slowly, today I don't see any need to go to a lawyer to form a company, or even to a chartered accountant. There are enough company secretaries who will do it for you. So similarly, in the profession of financial profession also, today you could get somebody who could advise you on mutual funds, somebody on insurance, on life insurance, somebody on health insurance, and somebody on credit cards. Like you've got too much debt, you don't know how to settle. So there are people who will do credit rectify, right? So find out what is the range of work which this person will do. For example, you may be wanting to invest money, you may be a young 28-year-old, 25-year-old investor about to start. But you could have a colleague who could be up to his eyebrows in debt, and he or she may need a completely different advisor. Both are financial advisors. So there are some who can get you a loan, some who can sit with you and plan your finances, some who can rectify your credit. Find out what is the full range of services that person provides, and ask that person what they will do in case, suppose that person is very good in investing but knows nothing about medical insurance. Do they have a tie-up with somebody? Those are the questions to ask, because you want to create a full team. Somebody should be able to advise you on credit card, credit score, etc. That is becoming pretty sophisticated a field. Today, if I were to add a new client, first thing perhaps I would ask is for their credit report to find out where they stand. I don't want a person who has got a personal loan but is still investing. So I will want to know his or her credit score. Then I would want to know what are the person's goals. So find out what is the full range of products which they offer, or if they don't offer a range of products, what tie-up do they offer. Third, ask them how are they compensated. Will they be charging you fees, or will they be charging fees from the manufacturer? And ask that person, will your answer be very different if you were compensated differently? Because for a beginner it is very difficult to find a financial advisor on a fee basis, because fee could be very expensive. So initially you are better off getting a person who will be a commission person, like an MFD, and later on when you have assets worth say 3-4 crores, shifting to a person who is a financial planner or a financial advisor. So find out what suits you. Also find out what are the kind of clients that this person handles. Like for example, there would be a financial advisor who says, I only deal with people above 35 who are talking about their retirement. I'm not looking at the 22-year-old. And there could be somebody who would say, I handle only a 35-year-old who is looking forward to his retirement. And somebody could say, I deal with beginners. And somebody could say, I deal only with people above 60 because I teach people how to withdraw money, right? So that kind of specialization could happen soon. It's already happening. So based on that, you will have to decide whether that person is suitable for you. If it's a person who is dealing with film stars and doctors, and you are a IT professional age 25, honest to God, that person may not be interested. He may have some other assistant who is interested in talking to you, sitting with you, dealing with you. Then you have to decide on the basis of the person you are meeting, not the brand under which you are working. Right, so make that very clear. Find out whether they are the kind of people with whom you wish to work with. Right, so what is that person's philosophy? If he is a person who says, I invest only for the long run, 20 years, 25 years, maybe a portion of your portfolio suits that, but some portion of your money you may want to do day trading. So to do day trading, do you need an advisor? Will you do it on your own? Will you just be driven by a very nice website which will tell you what to buy? Those are all calls that you have to take, because please understand also that an investment advisor and a financial planner are not necessarily the same person. I may know everything about investing, but I may know nothing about goal setting. So finding a person who knows your personal finances, who can do your risk analysis, etc., and know investing and know taxation, which means he understands or she understands clubbing provisions and what you can do to avoid clubbing provisions or things like that. Creating entities like AOP and HUF, right? Some person who understands the whole gamut may not really be looking for too many clients. So if you find such a person is going to be expensive and of a completely different generation, perhaps, especially if you're a youngster. So find out what you want, right? What I want in an advisor could be very different from what you want in an advisor. So my advisor could be 65-year-old. You may be 22, so you may be looking for a 35-year-old, right? Look at that also. You don't want to be intimidated by an advisor saying, oh, he's very knowledgeable, but he does not treat me well, he does not give me time. Then that's no point. Find out whether the person is really interested in giving you time. If he's not interested, if she's not interested in answering your questions, will they give you resources within their organization who will answer all that, right? Every medical question of mine that may not need a doctor. A very experienced nurse may be able to answer many of my questions and anxieties. So the question is, do you have some para planners who will be there sitting with you and helping you, and how they will communicate with you? Will it be through phone? Will it be WhatsApp? Will it be email? Will they just send you monthly or quarterly newsletters and portfolio reviews? Do you need a portfolio review every month or every quarter, or is it just superfluous because you're not going to even look at it, right? So find that out, and also ask that after I start investing, should I have to go to another advisor to appraise you? And I think that's a very good idea, and I know now friends who are doing it. They go to one advisor, get everything done, but they go to a second advisor and take a second opinion. Nothing wrong. If your portfolio runs into a couple of crores also, the difference, the price that you pay is worthwhile, because the second advisor tells you, oh, this fund was not necessary, this fund was not necessary, and believe me, he has to tell you way before the event. After an event, suppose I design a portfolio, and after an event, after 2 years, I may myself look at it and say, shit, this is not a good portfolio. I could have done this, I could have done this. That is called hindsight bias. Without hindsight bias, if you can show me a portfolio today and I can tell you what is wrong and what changes are to be made, and I turn out to be right after a couple of years, maybe my experience or whatever reasons, then there is value added. Everybody can look at your portfolio and say, oh, this should not have happened and this should have happened. Also find out how did you get to this financial advisor? Did somebody recommend you, or ask that person, did you recommend because he asked you to recommend, or was he recommending on his own, right? Find out some clients who have stopped working with him for whatever reasons. Find out what he was doing before he was doing this, and what is his real love, what is his real passion. Is it this? So when you answer all these questions honestly, put together, you would, and please do all the assessment of the financial advisor in the presence of your spouse and any grown-up child. If you have a 17-year-old son or daughter, so you are take your husband, take your daughter, and go to meet the financial advisor. Don't choose a person of a gender just because of the gender. Don't say, oh, I want to encourage women, therefore women. No, I will deal only with men. The women don't understand finances. Both are biases, right? So don't be biased while selecting. Make sure that you are not intimidating the person. If you're 55, 60 years, the 25-year-old financial planner might get intimidated by you. Don't do that. Don't act like you know everything. Then that person will just clam up and not talk. Right? So see what your behavior has to be. Talk to a few friends, find out, shortlist 2 or 3 people, invest equal amount of time. Don't say, oh, I've already spent 2 days with this guy, so I have to hire him or her. Pay for that time, but don't hire a person just because you have invested time in that person. Invest in time in 2-3 people. That can be, today Corona has taught us that guy sitting in Bangalore can look after your portfolio in Bombay. A guy sitting in Chennai or a girl sitting in Chennai can look after it in Kashmir. There is nothing which stops you. But if you are comfortable meeting that person in person, and that, take your pick. So, but ask all these questions, find out, and then you choose your financial advisor. Don't be in a hurry to choose one. Thank you.